Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Marketo-Fu. My name is Joe Reitz, and today what we're going to talk about is just the basics of attribution. There's not much I really want to show in Marketo. I just want to talk about the basic difference, or well, what attribution is, how it's used in Marketo, and then just the basic difference between first touch and multi-touch and how that looks in Marketo. So as far as like what attribution is, once you're up and running with Marketo, you have some programs that are running and you're converting leads and creating MQLs. What you're what you're going to want to do very soon is report on everything you're doing. And attribution in Marketo is basically figuring out which programs you can attribute those leads to. And there's two different ways you would do this, and that is with by acquisition, like which leads are acquiring programs, and that's what first touch acquisition is. And then multi-touch acquisition, which is what programs are successful at converting leads into MQLs, and or really just what programs are leads achieving a success status in. So when we looked at channels and tags, I think on a previous episode, and we walked through just the basics of a progression status, that's why those success steps are so important, because you want to make sure that there's a high bar that, if someone gets to that that progression stage in a channel, in a program, that it's something that you can really look back on and say, yes, this program definitely had an influence. Because when we go to do reporting later, which we'll get more into the weeds on it in a future episode, probably in the more advanced track, what you'll be able to see is basically if it had success in that program, we'll be able to tie that program to the revenue and say there was some kind of ROI. And that's where period costs and all that starts to come together, and you start to tell a much more just cool closed loop story. So as far as first touch acquisition goes, this is why acquisition program is so important, because that's basically how Marketo goes back and looks at what programs are good at acquiring leads. And if you have a form in it that's living local to a program, it sets the acquisition program automatically. Like, say I have a content program with a form on a landing page, that is going to automatically, if it's within the program, it's going to automatically make the acquisition program that program. If it's living in your design studio, though, this is what I was talking about on the list import video a couple episodes back. It's something you need to manually set via a smart campaign. So long story short, when it comes to acquisition, make sure that any lead that comes into your database at any time is having it set appropriately. And if you do that, what you can do when you get to reporting later is see what programs are generating leads, how many are they generating, and start to make some more informed decisions around, like, are trade shows really that good? Like, yeah, they're making a ton of leads, but from a multi-touch perspective, what's their influence on revenue? And then you can also compare from a first touch perspective, what's their influence on revenue. So say if a trade show was where we acquire a bunch of new leads, yeah, maybe we still want to go, and then rely on our other nurtures to kind of fill the gap. But basically, by taking first touch and multi-touch attribution together in one approach, you essentially create an opportunity to tell the whole marketing story, like how your marketing programs impacted lead across the entire buyer journey. So we'll dive into what these look like in a future video, and kind of I know we've already done a little bit around acquisition program, and when we get to the advanced track, we'll talk a little bit about RCA and maybe just a basic multi-touch report. But that, as far as the basics of attribution go, for the sake of today's vlog, all I want you to come out of this one knowing is first touch attribution relates to acquisition, and multi-touch attribution relates to program success. And if you know that, you'll be able to continue to set up your programs perfectly. And when it comes time to report on revenue and how much impact marketing and your marketing automation system is having on revenue, these are the things you can equip your business case with. So this has been the 15th episode of Marketo-Fu. And I've also been teased a little bit. In case it wasn't obvious, I swear I told a joke at Summit last year that killed, but I was a little high on cold meds because I was horribly sick when I was giving my session. But Marketo-Fu, like Kung Fu, make your Marketo-Fu strong Kung Fu. I think I'm the only person that must have seen Bruce Lee movies growing up. But anyway, this has been another episode of Marketo-Fu. I've been Joe Wrights. Look forward to talking to you guys again soon.